How are you showing up for yourself today? I feel like many of us find it easier to show up for other people as opposed to ourselves, and I don't think it's something that we always do consciously, but you know, if you have a partner or a friend or even a child, especially with a child, it's probably easier to show up for them and be there for them and commit to promises. But when it comes to ourselves, how often do so many of us break those promises and give excuses? And I think sometimes it can actually come down to fear. Maybe it's fear of not being good enough, maybe it's fear of disappointment, fear of failure, but really we're only doing ourselves a disservice. The reason I even wanted to talk about this topic today is because I almost put off filming a video because I didn't feel prepared. I've already shot a lot today, I was working on other content, and to be honest I felt a bit tired. And whilst I'm someone who advocates for rest and I'm all for giving yourself a break, I also have to realise when I'm actually just not showing up for myself, because I can have a break later when I'm done, and it was just more of an excuse of a reason not to film this video because I felt like I didn't have the right words to say or I didn't have a good enough idea. And I think that can be one of my main issues that holds me back, this kind of idea of it not being good enough or this level of perfectionism. But sometimes we at least need to just show up, because how are we ever going to kind of move the needle forward? A good example of this is in the gym. I go through periods where I'm like really on it in the gym, and other periods I fall off. So when it comes to lifting weights in the gym and things like that, there was a period where I was quite into that and I hadn't been for a while, and I was back to the baby weights again. And I put something on my story lifting this like baby weight, and it was quite funny actually. And I got a really lovely message from a PT that I follow, and she's not my PT, so it was really nice that she sent this. And she just basically said, good on you, like good work. And she said, your body doesn't know the weight, it only knows effort. And I thought that was such a good message. So lovely that she sent it, for one, and also the overall idea. And I think this can be applied to many areas of our lives. How many of us have put off doing something because we don't think we're good enough? But really it's often the people who just put the effort in to just start or just to show up regularly who actually get the most out of that thing, because then they're able to progress in their journey and move forward, whether it's with fitness and exercise, with career, in all areas of life. How do we expect to progress if we don't just show up for ourselves? I think another issue that I've often had, and it's something I talked about in a previous video, but I think I spent a long time earlier on in my life thinking that luck had to play a bigger factor. And I do believe in luck, but I think there's a level of also showing up to receive the luck. And there's this Oprah quote which I think sums it up perfectly. Let me find it. I think she said this same quote in different iterations over the years, but it basically goes, I believe luck is preparation meeting opportunity. If you hadn't been prepared when the opportunity came along, you wouldn't have been lucky. And that just sums it up. Can you really sit there and wait for things to happen without any little bit of involvement? Say for example, your dream is to become an actor and you would love to star in a big Hollywood movie, and you decide that you're just gonna sit back and wait for luck to come your way. And it happens. One day you're walking down the street and a big Hollywood director spots you and they say, you have the look, you are just what I've been looking for, please come and audition for my big blockbuster movie. So you go to the audition, but it turns out you absolutely suck because you haven't taken any acting lessons and you've not really honed in on your craft as much as some of the other actors who absolutely smash the audition, and so unfortunately you don't get the part. That is one of the situations where luck happens but you weren't prepared because you didn't turn up for yourself in the first place. Maybe that is like an extreme big example, but I think if we think like this in all areas of our life, it can just be a good reminder to show up for ourselves on a regular basis. And don't get me wrong, I do believe luck can play a big factor in certain things depending on what you want, you know, just from where you're born in the world to your social situation, but it doesn't mean that we shouldn't show up for ourselves as much as possible to us as individuals. So how do we show up for ourselves and prepare for when luck does come our way? Well, another quote that I love, I don't know who said this one initially, but it's prior planning prevents poor performance. The irony is I didn't plan this video, so we're just going with the flow, so if I'm rambling I do apologise. but it is so true. And I think, again, this can go for all areas of our lives. And again, it's the same when we show up for other people. We usually plan to do so. So why can't we do that for ourselves? Plan in that time to show up for ourselves. If for you it's fitness, then set a schedule. Do you know that you can do the mornings before work? Maybe it's 3 times a week. Schedule that in. Is it filming a YouTube video? Then plan your time and make it happen. Make that commitment to yourself and show up to yourself as you would a friend, family member, partner, because at the end of the day, if we show up for ourselves, it's probably only going to help us show up better for those around us in our life as well. I think we can't forget to talk about showing up for ourselves spiritually, mentally, emotionally as well, because sometimes that can be one of the biggest neglected areas, as much as the whole like go-getter mentality and achieving our goals is important. I think none of them can really happen, or it's going to be harder for them to happen if you don't focus on the other things as well, as I often find like they're the foundations, and those can be the easiest things to neglect. Often once we put those things in place, that's when you can build upon it with the other stuff, like the going after your career goals or finding a partner or showing up for other people in general. So again, what do you need to do? Do you know that you need to set time aside to meditate? That's something that I've got back into recently actually. I really fell out of the habit for such a long while, and it kind of frustrated me because I got into such a good routine with meditating. I'd get up in the morning and that was part of my morning routine, but after we got Larry and had a dog, if anyone's had a puppy, they'll know what those early stages are like. It just meant that my routine went a little bit off kilter, and it took me quite a while to get back into the swing of things. But this week I have been making it a habit to get back into my flow of meditating, and honestly it feels amazing. And that's an area that spiritually and mentally I have been showing up for myself and taking that time. I've been getting up a little bit earlier, getting back into my swing of earlier mornings now that spring is on its way finally, and it just has made the biggest difference, and it's had a positive knock-on effect to my work, to showing up in my relationship, because it's helped my mental health so much. And again, for me with movement, when it comes to yoga, I've mentioned this before, but for me it's a practice that really helped me with my mind, and so showing up for myself with that. In fact, as soon as this video has finished, I am going to book on to this evening's class, because that's something that I've put off this week, going to yoga, because you know I've put other things first, and that's an area where I need to show up for myself, because I know it allows me to show up better for other people when I've taken care of myself in that way. So that's it, just a little bit of a ramble. I didn't have a plan for this video, so it's just short and sweet, but I hope you kind of got the point. It was a bit of a pep talk for me, but hopefully it could give you some encouragement as well, because at the end of the day, if we're able to show up for ourselves, like I say, in all those areas, we're then able to show up better for other people, because we're fulfilling our own needs in a sense that fills us up mentally and spiritually, energetically, and then we're able to show up better for the other people in our lives as well. So yeah, it's just about being a good friend to yourself basically, and showing up in your life in the areas that you intended to. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, please do give it a like. Let me know down below actually areas in your life which you are currently trying to show up for yourself. Are you finding it easy? Are you struggling? Was this a good little reminder for you? I would love to know. If you did enjoy this video, please hit subscribe if you haven't already. I do plenty of videos like this where we have a little chat. Some of them are a little bit more structured. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed it, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.